The Senate Armed Services Subcommittee on Seapower convenes this afternoon to examine Marine Corps ground modernization programs. This afternoon, we welcome Mr. Thomas D., Deputy Assistant Secretary for the Navy for Expeditionary Programs and Logistics Management, and Lieutenant General Robert S. Walsh, who serves as Deputy Commandant for Combat Development and Integration. General Walsh is also the Commanding General of the Marine Corps Combat Development Command. Gentlemen, thank you for your service. And we thank the 184,000 Marines who serve in more than 40 countries around the world. The nation asks much of the Marine Corps: its amphibious mission, its role as the nation's expeditionary crisis response force, and its provision of key enablers to joint task forces from Kandahar to Anbar to northern Iraq offer a unique set of capabilities. The United States calls upon these capabilities often. The consequences of this high operation tempo and fiscal uncertainty are clear. As General Neller observed last month before the full committee, the Marine Corps is no longer in a position to simultaneously generate current readiness, reset our equipment, sustain our facilities, and modernize to ensure future readiness. The modernization of the Marine Corps, particularly of its ground forces, must be even more focused and economical than usual. Fortunately, Marine ground programs are targeted, relatively small, and well managed. Today, our witnesses will update us on their work to meet the need for the nation's global crisis response force. They will provide assessments of Marine Corps requirements going forward, and of course, they will answer critical questions. First and foremost, the subcommittee wishes to discuss the Marine Corps' strategy for modernizing its vehicle fleet, particularly the amphibious combat vehicle and the joint light tactical vehicle. This fleet provides maneuver from the sea, as well as protection and tactical flexibility ashore. The subcommittee wishes to discuss the design, suitability, and acquisition strategy for the amphibious combat vehicle, or ACV, which are perhaps most critical to the Corps' amphibious role. Last fall, 2 companies received contracts to develop prototypes of the first increment of the ACV. This vehicle will serve as a substitute for the canceled Marine personnel carrier, utilizing wheels and a limited swim capability that will likely require a connector to move it ashore. A fully amphibious increment of ACV that can self-deploy is being considered for future development. I'm interested in the progress of both concepts and the plan going forward. We also want to discuss the Joint Light Tactical Vehicle, or JLTV. I'm encouraged by the progress the Army and Marine Corps have made on this multi-service program, which provides our troops with a highly mobile, protected means of transportation. The subcommittee would benefit from hearing how the Marine Corps plans to acquire its fleet of 5,500 JLTVs, particularly in light of the decision to defer 77 vehicles in fiscal year 2017 and to provide more funding to the ACV and the ground-air task-oriented radar programs. Such shortfalls have an impact on capability, readiness, and program costs that must be addressed in order for our Humvees to be replaced as soon as possible. More broadly, we remain committed to maintaining a healthy industrial base through competition. With both the ACV and the JLTV, I understand the Marine Corps relies on competition to gauge early on what is technologically feasible and affordable. Competition requires viable competitors, which we do not always have. I would like our witnesses to provide their best assessment of the state of the U.S. industrial base for ground combat and tactical vehicles. I hope they will suggest what can be done to sustain the vitality of our manufacturing base. In addition to its work on tactical vehicles, I previously mentioned the Marine Corps' development of the Ground Air Task-Oriented Radar, or GATOR, to replace 5 older radars, and I believe this is a matter for discussion. Intended as an all-purpose system that can provide Marines with early warning from missiles, indirect fire, and aerial systems. Gator will also provide air traffic control capabilities. The subcommittee wishes to learn more about this complex program and its future role. We're eager to hear our witnesses discuss other equipment essential to the Marine Corps mission, such as small arms. Over the past year, the Marine Corps has collaborated with the Army on a joint 5.56 millimeter round. I hope our witnesses can speak to the status of this important project. We also welcome updates on the status of other critical capabilities, such as artillery and armor. The Marine Corps budget accounts for approximately 6% of DoD's total budget. I remain concerned about the impact of budget uncertainty on modernization and readiness across the Defense Department, but especially on the Marine Corps. As such, I hope our witnesses today will elaborate on the impact that uncertainty has on our expeditionary Marines, their ability to execute our country's national security strategy, and the vitality of our defense industrial base. So we look forward to your testimony, and I'm delighted, as I always am, to be joined by my teammate and ranking member, the Senator from Hawaii, Ms. Hirono.